Right, we're going to go ahead and call the May meeting for the Lake Area Community Services District Board of Directors to order. Please follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is the agenda been posted?
Yes, it was. I'm sorry. 1 second. Give me one. It's off.
Is it the TV?
That one is off too.
Is the TV volume on?
Do you hear?
Oh, there it is.
No. I can hear it, so it's not fine.
But isn't that volume say 44? It looked like you were bringing it down.
Is it here?
No, but that's it.
Can you guys hear it now?
Yeah, it's still there.
Still good. Should I turn this one? That's not, okay, well, let me, oh, wait. Yeah, right. Let's try that. No? I don't know if it's sitting. Do you want me to just turn this one off?
Try that and then we can continue. It's not terrible.
You want me to leave it on then?
No, go
Leave
ahead and
it.
close that one
Okay.
and see if it helps.
Very interesting. Sorry.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Weird.
And yes, the agenda was posted on May 22nd.
Okay, roll call.
Director Ambrosic. Here. Vice President Boydston.
Here.
Director Brown. Here. Director Reynolds is absent. President Worm.
Here. Any additions or deletions from the agenda? None? Next segment is for public comment. Speak on to the board within matters within the board's jurisdiction or the jurisdiction of community services district that are not on the agenda. So if you have matters on the agenda that you'd like to speak on, we request that you wait until that matter is called. The board may comment or not comment on public comments. It's in the best interest of the person speaking, the board to be concise and to the point. There is a time limit of 5 minutes. And we do request that each speaker remember that we're a small community, we're neighbors. We see each other at the post office, at the grocery store, other locations. So I think the points can be made without any disparagement of any individuals. And it probably is to your speaker's benefit to not be disparaging to other individuals, because I think for the most part, people will appreciate the comment without any disparagement. So do we have any requests to speak?
Yes, Mr. Schultz.
Michael,
Good afternoon.
good afternoon.
Okay, this is a prepared written statement expressing the views and opinions of our residents who live here in our community of Arrowhead Woods. The biggest issues LACSD faces is the constant battle with PFAS and the false information regurgitated by a public website known as Arrowhead Woods Informed. The main author of this website, Garen Bartanian, continues to claim our local water rights are in jeopardy. That is a lie. Where's the evidence? There is none. However, our community knows that AWAC rescinded a merger with LACSD well over a year ago. The only thing in jeopardy is the credibility of Arrowhead Woods Informed And this is due to the fact that the main author, Mr. Garen Bartanian, was exposed as a non-resident of our community, but is a resident of LA County and happens to own a piece of property here in our Arrowhead Woods. LACSD is not guilty from every aspect of falsehoods written by this well-known cancel culture website. Now, why does this matter? It matters because misinformation and lies from this public website, Arrowhead Woods Informed, erodes our residents' ability to make informed decisions and thoughts and opinions regarding the vital services provided by LACSD, especially when they affect our health, safety, and quality of life in our mountain community. Our drinking water is vital to our community and residents. And when Mr. Garen Bartanian states that he wants to get rid of our board, GM, staff, and employees, we will stand strongly against this statement. Mr. Garen Bartanian's criticism has been going on for years against LACSD and is not rooted in facts, but in fiction. LACSD has spent an enormous amount of time and money kowtowing to Mr. Garen Bartanian's and Ted Hike's 60+ public records requests and have found nothing in over 2 years. LACSD's policies are not only legally compliant, but are crafted in collaboration with engineers, staff, and environmental experts. LACSD functions under the strict oversight of state and federal guidelines. This public website and Mr. Garen Bartanian persistent falsehoods and claims about LACSD is continually being exposed to protect the integrity of LACSD and the vital interests of our community residents. It is imperative that we address these falsehoods and inaccuracies head on and set the record straight regarding the truth about LACSD. Also, most residents want to remain anonymous due to the fact that this public website, Arrowhead Woods Informed, contributes nothing to our community and will smear your name, reputation, and livelihood. Also, a falsehood statement regarding the full-time resident occupancy being at 18% in Arrowhead Woods is a lie and is approximately 35% full-time residents. Our full-time residents will continue to expose the falsehoods of this public website, and we thank LACSD for hearing our frustrations and opinions and hope everyone enjoyed Memorial Day weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public wish to comment?
There's none.
None. Okay. All right. Next, we move on to the consent calendar. The consent calendar is expected to be routine and non-controversial. Be acted on at one time without discussion unless an item is withdrawn by a board member for questions or discussion. Any person wishing to speak on the consent calendar may do so by announcing their name and being recognized. Do we have any members of the public who wish to speak on the consent calendar?
There's none.
Okay, any additions or any deletions by the board? No.
No.
Okay. We need to have a roll call vote on this?
Yes.
Yeah,
So, okay,
motion.
okay, I'm just making sure that.
Oh, okay, sorry. I thought you were going to.
Not yet,
Sorry.
okay. Do
Sorry.
we have a motion to,
I'll move to approve.
okay? You have a
I'll second
second?
it.
All right. Roll call vote then?
Director Ambrosi? Yes. Vice President Weinstein?
Yes.
Director Brown? Yes. President Worth?
Yes, and the motion to accept is approved. Next, we have information and discussion items. And we'll ask for public comment as we go through each item, okay? So first we have finance manager's report, John O'Brien. John.
Thank you, President Warren. On page 86 of your packet, you'll find my third quarter financial statement and investment report. While the report itself has all the details, I'll just briefly touch on a couple of items. District's operating revenue through the first 3 quarters of the fiscal year is up approximately 1% over budget, while operating expenses are approximately 6% under budget. As mentioned in prior reports, Purchased water is over budget, but that did slow down in the third quarter. Also, insurances have been higher than expected. Puts us in pretty good shape as we move to complete the fiscal year next month. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Any questions from the board?
No.
Any public comment?
None.
All right, thank you, John, and we'll be getting a summary of the year next.
It would be in August.
August.
Yeah, because these are the quarter ending March 31st. So
Okay.
we always lag by about 6 weeks to close everything out. But yes, fourth quarter will be the end of the fiscal year, and then we'll move into the audit, the year-end audit as well.
Okay, very good, thank you. All right, next, operations manager report, Matt.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. So for you is my informational item beginning on page 73 of the packet. Gives an update on water delivered in the calendar year and also any other pertinent happenings in my department. So if you could go to page 78, that's where I'll have my analysis and commentary, and let's go over a couple of briefly the things that jumped out. Comparing April of 25 to April of 24, consumption is slightly up this year. 9.6% is what we call it, but it's about 5 acre feet, not a lot. And comparing the first 4 months of this year versus the first 4 months of 24, we're down slightly, about another 4 acre feet, about 1.7%. So very, very similar to last year. And this is water delivered to the distribution system, not metered units. Lake draw is a bit less this year. As you know, Cedar Glen's offline, and we've been purchasing some more Clawa to help with the PFAS blend. So lake draw is down about 55 acre feet less at this point compared to last year and the end of April. Wells to system is up. We finally have all of our wells up and running, which is really nice. So looking at us up slightly on the year, but we're hopeful that throughout the rest of the year, we'll gain some momentum and keep the momentum going, and production should be up. So Claw was up, purchased this year versus this time last year. We actually just turned Claw 1 back on at 100 gallons a minute a week ago. And that's based on the demand. And again, with Cedar Glen treatment plant being offline at the moment, and we're looking at possibly turning Clawa 2 on later this week or early next week, again, based on demand. So, lastly, recycled water deliveries, they commenced for the season May 12th. So, and we're looking at just delivering them, what we typically deliver them in an average year. So, anywhere 2 to 215 acre feet per year. If you go to the next page, I added some cool photos this month, and on page 79, there's an aerial view of our farm, and it's kind of a diagram here that Zach and he put together. He runs the collections department over in field operations, and basically, if you take a look at this, they added, they abandoned some 8-inch steel pipe, added 12-inch PVC pipe, got rid of some 90s, put in some new valves, and basically added 45 where the 90s were. And so we're very hopeful that this is going to be hopefully one of the last like restrictions that we've been dealing with. We dealt with one that went underneath the Mojave River and went through the Mojave Forks Dam. We upsized some piping at the farm itself, and we did all that in-house. And now the guys did all this in-house. So if you go to the next page, you'll see some photos of the guys working. It was quite the undertaking. You know, so they replaced, like I mentioned, 490 degree bends with 245s. You'll see the bottom right photo there. That was kind of ugly. That's what was coming out of the building. So the picture right above that, top right, is what replaced what's down below it. And so it came out of the building, and they kind of went immediately into 3 different 90s. And so we're very hopeful that not only the upsizing from 8-inch to 12, but getting rid of all this stuff is going to only help us flow better in the wet weather season. So another picture, or I mean, the following page, there's 4 more pictures. You can see these guys just laid a lot of pipe, approximately 1,220 feet of pipe. Now, just to actually go back, if you guys remember, you guys approved the purchase of all this material back in February. And this is the stuff that we talked about possibly gonna get dinged with tariffs and so we didn't get dinged with tariffs. We got the stuff very quickly and we got it in the ground very quickly. So that project's done. It commenced on March 19th and they completed it on April 30th, and this was all done in-house again. So some photos of the guys doing the work. You'll see the dirt down there is quite a bit different than what we deal with up here. Very soft. They had to basically open these trenches up very wide so they can get down there and work, so they didn't cave in on them. And then if you turn the page or go to page, is it 82? There's some photos of us doing those fire department trainings I spoke about a month ago. And it was 3 different days. We spoke with 3 different crews. So the top photo there, you'll see there's Nathan Porter, and there's Matt O'Kelly and Micah O'Connell and myself, and we're presenting to, again, 3 different shifts of county fire. And they also invited some unit from Running Springs, and Forest Service and CAL FIRE weren't able to make it, but we talked about a lot of great things: pressure zones, hydrants, hydrant components. We talked about our plan to color coordinate the hydrant bonnets. We discussed incidents such as wildfires, structure fires, and the challenges that we face, and it was really good. They were asking, like, when should they call one of our employees out? We said, whenever you guys feel it's necessary. We have people on staff 24/7. I think it was the next night they called someone, and yeah, the gentleman showed up and helped them out, and so we've got some good communication with them. We're hoping to kind of maybe do something quarterly with the fire department, maybe not necessarily trainings with all the guys, but meeting with the chiefs and then kind of discussing what they're seeing over there, and if we need to have some more trainings, but only good things are going to come with better communication with the fire department. So with all that said, that's what I have on my report. I don't know if you guys have any questions about anything I covered.
Questions, comments? Public comment?
There's none.
No? All right, thank you, Matt.
Okay.
Very good. And then next, Matt, PFAS report.
Right, the PFAS update, that begins on page 83, talks about anything related to PFAS. So if you just go to page 85 of your packet, you'll notice, so we have some results that are included in this report, and they're also on our website. They were for the Bernina blended sample. I spoke about this last month. We took them April 17th, and those results are on page 86. I'll get to that in a minute. Other than that, we took some samples about a week ago. They're required raw samples of the treatment plants that are online and our top 3 producing wells. We took those samples. We have not received those results. We should have those by next month's meeting. We did, however, receive 90% design plans from N2W for both Cedar Glen and Bernina. We've been going through those. A lot of stuff to look at. These guys are really good, but we're getting down to the detail of these projects. And so we've spent a lot of time looking these over. We had a call on the 21st to discuss our comments, and that went well. And we're setting up a meeting with the Division of Drinking Water to go over their comments, our comments, and work towards the 100% design plans, which we're very close to. So we're very happy with the group we're working with, the engineering firm, and we're very happy with the outcome so far. Confident we're going to get a good product. So with that said, on the next page, on page 86, that's where we updated the Bernina blended final sample, and it came in at 7.3 parts per trillion for PFOA. And that's the one that we, PFOA and PFOS are the 2 constituents that are more problematic for us. And so that's where we go to a locational quarterly running annual average. The goal is to keep that below 10. That's the California response level. And we got a result of 7.3. So our locational running annual average for that site, Bernina blended, is now 7.2 parts per trillion. So with all that said, if you guys go to, there was a regulatory update that I included. It came out on the 14th of May, and the EPA announced intent regarding PFAS MCLs, and I included that on page like 97 of your
Yes.
packet. Okay, so there's a link at the bottom, and the links got a lot more detailed information, but I basically grabbed a couple of the highlights, and basically the first one talks about PFOA and PFOS, like I said, are our constituents that are problematic for us and a lot of the agencies. They're sticking with the MCLs they proposed for that, and that was 4 parts per trillion. Now, if I skip to the third paragraph here, agencies like us were given till 2029 to comply with these maximum contaminant levels of 4 parts per trillion. And that would be to either shut the source down or install treatment like we're doing. So they're proposing to add a couple of years to that to make the compliance date 2031 instead of 2029. Doesn't really affect what we're doing. We've been working towards the goal of 2029, but just to mention, looks like the EPA is looking at pushing that back to allow drinking water systems more time to develop plans for addressing these things. As you know, they're not cheap and they're not easy. So, and aside from that, there's another group of chemicals called Gen X that maybe you've heard of. And there's a hazard index with this group of chemicals. If there's one of this PFBS and then any one of these other 3 and they're in combination, there was what's called a hazard index, which is a separate MCL, and they've kind of pulled that out and they're going to take another look at that. So they're kind of making some changes on the fly to some of these previously proposed PFAS regulations. So all the information's there at that link, and that's what I have for my PFAS update. So if you have any questions, I'll gladly take them.
Questions, comments? And when do you have any estimate as to when the plans or the equipment and will be done by the engineers?
We're hoping to get the 100% design plans. I mean, I would just guess in the next couple months.
Couple of months?
And then, but at that point, then we're gonna need to send them out to bid and go through the bid process. So, we were hopeful that these projects, we'd break ground later this summer. And they would see completion, I think, in 2026. I'm not sure that if we're gonna be able to stick to that timeline, but we're doing everything we can on our end, and it's a slow process dealing with the state. They've kind of been slowing it up, but that's not a bad thing. I mean, it's all in the hopes that we end up on the same page, and it ensures a smooth permitting process with them. This is again, kind of like we're blazing new trails with trying to put a ion exchange treatment downstream of a surface water plant. So it has its challenges. So we're just not rushing through it, but we're confident we'll meet the new 2031 deadline, but we're shooting for the 2029 deadline as well. So.
Any more questions, comments? Public comment?
Yes, we have Mr. Owens. Mr. Owens, go ahead.
Thanks. Hey, could you give me a 30,000-foot elevation of the project that you're doing currently, and the purpose of it?
I think the purpose is to remove PFAS.
Yeah, we're doing ion exchange treatment to remove. Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions? No, okay, all right. Any other members of the public? Questions or comments?
That's it.
That's it, okay, all right. Very good, thank you, Matt. Next, we have Dustin? No, or
Joe Manager.
Number 14.
number 14, right? General manager? Okay. All right. Well, I'm looking here, it's from Dustin.
Oh, next one.
Okay.
Anyway, but I'm going to defer my comments until number 16 because this content was also addressed in that action item.
Okay. So no other comments from the general manager. Okay. Okay, so that concludes the information and discussion items. Right?
Yes.
So we're on to action items. Number 15.
Thank you, President Warren, and members of the board. I'm here to discuss Assembly Bill 2561 on September 22nd, 2024. Governor Gavin Newsom signed this bill, introducing significant amendments to Myers, Mills, and Brown Act. This legislation established a new requirement for public agencies to provide transparent and public disclosures regarding the status of job vacancies. This is on page 102 if you're looking. By mandating greater transparency in vacancy reporting, AB 2561 aims to promote accountability and encourage proactive measures to address staffing shortages in public agencies. This report provides an update overview of positions, vacancies as of January 2025 in accordance with the requirement of AB 2561, which addresses vacant positions in local public agencies. Human Resource reached out to our local 557 union president as well as the MSCEU president to notify both organizations at upcoming board meeting and the agenda. Some of the tools that we use to recruit: newspaper advertisements, website postings, website subscriber notifications, and in-house postings. The district is currently fully staffed. Any questions?
Questions from the board? Okay. Opportunity for union input, presentation? Okay. All right. No board member discussion or comment? No. Okay. We're gonna open the, for the public hearing. Does the public have any comment?
There's some comments online and I don't see any in the
Okay.
public here.
And there be no public comment or questions, comments from the board, we'll go ahead and close the public meeting. And then we will entertain a motion from the board. Which will be to accept the report in compliance with Assembly Bill 2561. I will do accept the report.
I'll second it.
Okay. And the roll call vote or just?
Not on this one.
Okay, all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous approval then. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Dustin. Next is item number 16. Consider approving the annual water supply and demand assessment and direct the general manager to file the assessment with the DWR. Got it.
Thank you. So every year, all urban water suppliers are required to do an analysis of their current supply and then project 1 year into the future. So it's like a short-term analysis of whether you're gonna have enough water to meet demand if the conditions are dry. And we kind of do have that scenario this year. The 2 years before were rather wet, but this was actually a dry year, even though the lake is full. So, so we do an analysis. Bottom line is we have enough supply to meet demand. We did in 2023, we lowered our water storage level from level 3 to level 2. So we're at level 2 currently. So if we see another dry year coming up, then we'll come back to the board for consideration if we should change that. But as of now, we have no recommendation for a change. So in this report, basically, all of this data gets put into a spreadsheet by DWR, gets uploaded. So I just need your approval and acceptance of this report before I submit it to DWR.
Okay, any questions, comments from the board? Right, so with a full lake, I'm hoping they'll approve. They don't want us to have more water than the lake can hold, right? They couldn't, I don't think.
Mojave likes it.
Okay, all right. Any questions, any public comment?
There's no.
My question, yeah, for Memorial Day weekend, would you guys, be up to date as far as the comparison as water usage for the prior years to this Memorial Day weekend by chance?
I know yeah,
We'll have data, in about a week.
Okay.
I don't know if we have it for a weekend though, do we, or is it sort of
It
monthly?
would be, we do monthly,
Monthly, yeah.
so we know for the month.
But could you break it down to like a weekend, Memorial Day weekend and being the. weekend.
But it would have to be by need, or it would be, I mean, if it was necessary, we certainly could.
Any other questions, comments?
There's,
None? Okay, all right, then we will ask for a motion to approve the annual water supply and demand assessment. Okay, fantastic. Okay,
I'll second that.
all right, okay. But I want no roll call.
Just regular, but.
Very good, okay. All in favor of approving the annual water supply demand?
I,
Aye, okay, aye, and unanimous approval. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you for filling up the lead. All right. Okay. Next is item number 17, consider awarding a contract for internet technology managed services. Catherine or John?
Thank you, President Worm. The district has recently decided to explore other providers for its IT and cybersecurity managed services. Excuse me. We've had our current provider for many years, but feel it's time for a change. We released an RFP in March and we received 17 responses. Staff evaluated the responses and interviewed the top 5 before selecting ABSS Inc. as our recommendation to the board. ABSS is headquartered in Riverside, pride themselves on planning, deep technical knowledge, and client-first focus. They adhere to the NIST cybersecurity framework and that helps ensure a robust network and security posture. They've offered a competitive price. Staff has received positive feedback from multiple references. We've spent a little bit of time outside of, since kind of deciding to recommend them, and very, very happy, very enthusiastic about moving forward. So it is recommended that the Board of Directors authorize General Manager to execute a contract with ABSS Inc. to provide information technology and cybersecurity managed services for the district. With that, I'll take any questions, and I'll also add that the CEO of ABSS, Bill Grandia, is here as
Okay.
well.
Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Welcome. Any questions or
I have a
comments?
question. How did you consider your top 5?
We have kind of a matrix that we put together, different, scope of services that are provided, the presentation, price, so ultimately, I think there's like what, 8 or 10 different kind of
No, 8.
kind of criteria that we look at. If you take the 17, there's a small handful that are just like, they're just not in the running. They don't really provide services, or they're just like a one-man shop. And then by the same token, they're not able to provide the services that you're looking for. Because when you put an RFP out there, you're going to get a lot of these things. So some of them are just, they're not within the scoring, and then it does become tighter, and then you look at those kind of top 5, and there's a little bit of a feeling that it's like, okay, I like this one, or I like this one more than that. But in the beginning, you're trying to be objective as possible. You got to come up with some way to decide, how you're going to proceed with the process. And then with those top 5, we interviewed 5, kind of came up with the final 2, I would say. And then we just kind of go back and forth on that, and come up with our board recommendation.
Other questions, comments? What was, so we have a monthly of 10,200, is that like a fixed?
That's correct.
Okay, for as much as we need?
For the services.
24/7.
For 3 years?
Yeah, for 3 years, and that's for services. So that doesn't include hardware or
yeah.
subscriptions and
Yeah.
things along those lines.
Sure. And looking at the, I guess under pricing, page 119 and 120, it had fixed flat fee, 7,300 per month. then additional per hour, and then on-call standby. So how does that figure in or calculate up to the 10,200?
So the on-call standby comes into the 7,300, which would take us to 83.
Okay.
And then on page 139
Okay. Yes.
is for the network management services,
Okay.
and that's 1,900. And that gets us to the 10,2.
All right. And I, I'm not saying we need to like compare each dollar.
Sure.
But what were we paying on the prior contract?
Approximately 14.
Okay, so this is so less money, but you feel better service or hoping for it.
Yeah, I mean, one of the criteria wasn't priced. to start
Right,
with.
right, yeah.
It's so critical for us to maintain safe cybersecurity for all of our systems. But it just turned out in the end
It
that
was-
we actually were gonna save money as well.
Scott,
Question for you, sir. Can you explain who the 5 companies were on the final? Is that fair enough or is that?
I don't recall offhand.
Okay. In the top 2?
I don't,
Is it confidential?
I don't think it's confidential. The other one was,
Intellisys.
yes, Intellisys.
Let's see, I know Riverside, what is lead time to get to a problem? Let's say we had a serious emergency, what's the lead time to get there?
One of their staff lives within walking distance.
Okay. And is there any conflicts of interest or friendships that could cause an issue?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Fair enough. Thank you very much.
okay, thank you, Scott. Any other questions, comments from the public?
Mike Owen, Mr. Owen.
Hi, thanks. Yeah, do they employ white hack services?
White hat.
Yeah, so subscribing to someone that tests the vulnerabilities of the system that they're going to implement. A good hacker testing their services or their means of protecting you.
Yes, true. It is a white hat, but it's also done, we do it internally, pre-audit readiness. And then we have it done independently.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any other questions, Mike? No?
Okay, and then we have, it says Brim Educational Foundation. I'm sorry, I forgot your name, ma'am. Go ahead.
This is Anna Rojas, and I'm actually not with Rim of the World. It just, my computer defaults to that because I'm on their board. Anyway, thank you so much. I wanted to just say that I'm really impressed that you've got 15 vendors involved in this or, interested in writing a proposal for this. I was just going to suggest, your matrix. I think it's a great idea that you had a matrix and you had sort of a scaling system to decide who was the most eligible vendor to provide the service. But in your matrix, maybe for the future, the question that somebody just asked, is there a conflict of interest? Are there relationships there? That might be something you want to include in your matrix for future RFPs that go out. And I just wanted to make that suggestion.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the suggestion, but I think also just for your information, and Joe and Catherine, you can correct me or add to it. I mean, any board member is not allowed to have a financial interest in any contract. So, that's one observation I have.
Neither are employees.
And neither are employees, okay.
Right.
So, all right, but thank you for your comment. Any other questions or comments?
I got one, so basically you guys got that, taken care of as far as if a conflict of interest is observed, you guys squash it immediately?
We would have, the board member could not vote on it, and there's pretty severe financial penalties if
It's
it
against
does
the law.
occur. It's
Against the law.
illegal, yeah.
Well, I can say there's all kinds of conflicts of interest and the Fair Political Practices Commission has a lot of guidance on that. And we do training twice a year for the board members. And they come to me, sometimes you have to recuse yourself, sometimes the district wouldn't be able to enter into a contract depending upon the nature of the financial relationship, so it's something that we're trying to be very on top of and, yeah, feel good about.
All right. Thank you, Michael. Any
One last
other?
question, just
Sure.
since we're talking about that stuff, this employee doesn't have anybody else that works here that they know that this is local employee. It's great to have on the ground service right here, but there's no ties there, right? We've already checked that out.
No,
But
there
this
are
employee that
no,
lives here, there's no ties
we
to.
do not
anybody who
know
works here.
any of the
There's
staff. We
Thank you.
are familiar with
Yeah.
one of his staff members just because he used to work for our old company, but we're not, we have no ties.
There's no conflicts of
Good,
interest.
good, good.
Okay. All right.
Awesome.
Any other questions or comments?
None.
Okay, all right. So we will then go ahead and ask for a motion to give the general manager authority to award the contract to Internet Technology Meaning Managed Services. For Internet Technology Managed Services to ABSS. The gentleman who's here, right? I'll move that we accept ABSS. Okay. And don't need a roll call vote, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, it's unanimous approval. Thank you. All right, thank you very much. Thank you for coming.
Thank you
Appreciate
for
it.
having me.
Nice to
Thank you for your
meet you and
comments.
look forward to the next 3 years of zero problems. I think it was not this weekend, last weekend, my internet service was out from Frontier the whole weekend.
burned out.
Yeah.
2 or 3 days.
Yeah, all right. That's happens sometimes, okay. So number 18, consider awarding a contract for the Meadow Bay and Blue Jay Bay slip lining project number 263. Okay. Who do
Thank
we
you,
have
Mr.
presenting
President. I will
this?
present this item.
Okay.
So, it's kind of an exciting project for us because we've been working to slip line the entire Lake Main for a very long time,
Yes.
more than 10 years. And so this is the final piece of the entire Lake Main that we're gonna slip line. So we put it out to bid. We received 2 bids. The low bid was from Tunnel Works, $2,409,000. The budget for this project is 3 million. When we add the contingencies, we're estimating the project could be around 2.9 million. So, it's kind of straightforward. This project is a little more complicated than some of the others, which the engineering cost estimate was based on, just because there's not the same kind of access points that we've had at some of our other slip lining projects. But we're excited to get this one going, so I submit this to you for your consideration.
All right. And so it has been a long time. As long as I've been on the board, we've been slip lining.
Yes.
Continually. And so this will complete the slip lining at the, for the lake side, like, which, means that hopefully we're not gonna ever have any wastewater spills into the lake. That's very important. There's what, 6,600 linear feet.
It's a big project.
So, yes, it is.
Yes.
So at the, say, 3,000,000, 2,900,000, how does that compare linear foot with other projects? I know access is a little bit more difficult here, or is more difficult.
Yeah, it's longer for sure. Of course, I don't have that in front of me, the linear feet of our last slip lining project.
I meant cost per linear feet.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
have that with me here, but we're also going to be rehabilitating 45 manholes and there's 71 laterals, so it's
Mhm.
quite a project.
Yes, and the access is difficult, maybe the most difficult access for the whole, like.
Yeah, 'cause there's no trail on much of this project, and so they'll be using a barge to access the
Yeah.
lake.
Okay. Great. I have 2 questions.
we're gonna be using a barge, are we using ALA's barge?
Yes,
Are they cost sharing with us, or are they just giving us a barge? What are they doing?
it's part of the contractor's cost. It's part of his bid.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
so he's gonna pay for it.
Mhm.
So we're not cost sharing anything on it, even though it affects ALA?
Nope,
Okay,
no cost share. I mean, through this contract, you could say so, but
okay. Number two, the engineer's cost was, 1.8.
Yeah.
Which is about 600,000 under what we're doing. Was that estimate, was it time sensitive and such that he made it a while back and now the prices are higher, or was he just a little off?
yeah,
A
it's,
lot off, I should say.
it is difficult to estimate these projects. The last slip lining, I think that we did for the Lake Main was 2023. And, but we did have some other slip lining projects, but they were smaller diameter and not quite the access issue, but,
And we only got two bids. So. Okay, that was it.
Any other questions, comments?
No.
Okay, public comment?
Yes, we have, it says MacBook guest. Go ahead.
Hello,
Hello, go ahead.
this is Garen. I'm on my new computer. I haven't changed my name yet. So, MacBook, sorry about that. Quick question here. So, the project, the paragraph says the project consists of installing approximately 6,591 linear feet of cured in place CIPP, 18-inch diameter concrete sewer main, including pre-cleaning. Then the CCTV inspection, locating and marking 71 laterals, and then redoing 41 manholes to seal them up.
Yes,
The questions, I have three questions. You guys said that you're using a barge to do this repair. This 18-inch pipe there, how old is 18-inch concrete pipe? If you're using a barge, are you working directly over the water? Because there's no trails there. That's question number two. And then question number three is, I'm assuming you have a budget of $3 million for this project. I'm assuming you guys have done some sort of inspection and there's some sort of issue with this. Can whoever did the inspection, I don't know if Mr. Schroeder is the manager that handles this. Can you briefly discuss what the inspection process was? What defects were discovered on this pipe? And that sort of thing. Just some background on what was the inspection items that were carried out, leading to a $3 million repair on this 18-inch pipe. So those are my three questions.
Catherine, can you?
sure, so obviously, using the barge isn't necessarily, it's not like there's gonna be sewer repair happening over the water. It's mainly to help bring equipment. And they will be using all of the best management practices required to ensure that no sewer spill is going to occur and there will be no sewer. The inspection process, actually, this pipe was in pretty good shape. Nate, I don't know if you want to talk about the process of inspecting our CCTV, but our staff did all of the video inspection for this project. And Mr. Vartanian did request that and we provided it to him, and it was in pretty good condition, that pipe, but it's old and we want to make sure that it maintains its integrity.
We don't want to wait until there's a spill to make a repair. We want it to,
That's right.
we want it to be proactive and upgrade our facilities before there is a spill, especially in such a sensitive area. And then I think Garrett also had a question as to how old the 18-inch pipe was.
You know,
I don't know off the top of my head, no.
Okay.
we do have that, but I don't have that with me.
Okay, didn't we also say, you made a statement earlier that we've slip lined or repaired all the way around the lake almost, so this is just an ongoing part, it doesn't have to be damaged or broken or anything else, it's just part of a continuation of, like I said, proactive replacement.
Right,
before something does happen.
We've been doing it for 10 years or more,
yeah.
and this is the last piece of the puzzle.
I would assume this pipe is newer than some of like the Palisades area, but I
Right.
don't have that.
I mean, this is a
Right.
newer area, but
Mm.
it doesn't matter how old it is, because we're making sure it's not gonna have a spill.
That's
Okay.
right.
Any other questions
There's
from,
no-
from the public?
There's no new questions.
Okay.
Mr. Bartini has his hand up again.
All right, well, he had 3 questions, so I think we answered them all. All right. Okay, so, then we'll entertain a motion to approve the, contract to Institute Form Technologies LLC.
To tunnel works.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's right. I don't want to give away $900,000, right? That would be illegal and a conflict of interest. Consider awarding the contract to Tunnel Works for the amount in the stated in the contract. Giving the general manager authority to enter into the contract. Do we have? a motion?
move that we accept the contract for Tom Works.
I'll second.
Okay, and just voice vote?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, the motion is unanimously approved. All right. Okay, any board member meetings? Steve and I have a couple of comments, but besides us, no?
Nope.
Okay. Steve, want to,
Sure, yeah, I'll jump in. On the 18th of April, I completed 2 hours of state required sexual harassment prevention for supervisors training. In compliance with Assembly Bill 1825 and 1661. Received the training from the California Civil Rights Department. A couple things it covered, but not everything that it covered was what constitutes sexual harassment, discrimination in the workplace, recognizing it, avoiding harassment, potential consequences. Also, what constitutes abusive conduct in the workplace in compliance with AB 2053. And orientation, gender identity, gender expression in compliance with Senate Bill 396. That's all.
okay, and on March 29th, 2025, I completed the required sexual harassment prevention. There's a lot in there, it's 2 hours, and there's a lot of conduct comments that a supervisor can make that are not allowed. But yet, on the other hand, I think that an employer and the supervisors can appropriately administer discipline, suggestions, and so forth that are to employees without incurring any liability. I think what I took away mostly from the 2 hours was that if whether it's a coworker, and also it applies to coworkers too, right? So whether it's a coworker to a coworker, supervisor to an employee, that everybody should be treated with respect, courtesy, and dignity, and not abused. And if you've got some sort of bias, you just gotta leave that at home. Don't bring it to the workplace. Don't bring a bad attitude to the workplace either. Right, so that's what I got out of it, and that's my report. Okay,
What'd you do on your testing?
I didn't pass it, so I have to take it again.
I got 100% by the way.
Okay, well, very good. You can take it from me the next week, okay? All right.
It's against the law, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
See stuff.
All right. So next we have board member comments. Any other comments? So,
None
Okay.
for me.
all right, we're gonna go into closed session. It's a public employment with the general manager. We don't expect any action to be taken. All right. All right, motion to adjourn?
Nope, we're going into public, into closed session, not adjourning.
Okay,
Go ahead, you're right.
and we'll adjourn afterwards.
Correct.
Thank you for the correction.